Hey, so my name is Peter. I'm a product manager here at Sensolus. So you're a go-to point for all your product and roadmap related questions.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm responsible for customer success at Sensolus. So one of the aspects that the Sensolus solution is famous for is the ease of installation. It only takes a couple of minutes to install a tracker on an asset. And when you have thousands of them to do, it makes a huge difference. So I wanted to ask Peter, what is so special about the Sensolus solution that such a fast installation is possible?
Yeah, okay. So it's very important to mention that as Sensolus, we clearly position ourselves as a full end-to-end solution provider, right? So not even about just the installation, but also the process before, the selection of your software, your hardware, and your total stack for the solution is something we take care of and we offer as a whole package. So that means that going from the hardware, the software, but also the communication contract, the SIM card selection, all this is provided by Sensolus, and as a customer of Sensolus, you don't have to worry about all these individual components. You have one talking point, and you have Sensolus who is monitoring and who is taking care that everything works fine. And this really helps our customer rolling out things fast, because otherwise, you might be needing to talk to different parties and to tweak different parameters to make the solution work, which is just often a waste of time for your own company.
Okay. So you mentioned the SIM card. Is it like a SIM card in my phone? Do I have to buy them separately, or what are our customers confronted with?
Yeah, so indeed there is a SIM card inside, but actually you don't really need to worry about that, right? We take care of that. The selection of the SIM card actually also means with which communication provider you would be doing business with, right? We take care of that. So we select one with good coverage in the countries that you need. And there's actually a worry that you do not have to worry about yourself.
Okay, so I buy the trackers and there's a SIM card fully operational.
Exactly,
inside.
It's just something that you don't need to worry about.
Okay.
That's how it should be.
And what about batteries? When I buy electronic devices, often I have to add batteries and close the devices. That takes some time as well. How does that work?
Well, the trackers come provisioned as well with the battery pack inside. Very important to mention that this is a custom battery pack really designed for this type of technology. So we don't use off-the-shelf batteries, we actually use a battery with a chemistry that has a much higher energy density, which enables a much longer battery lifetime compared to trackers or tracking solutions that contain off-the-shelf batteries.
All right.
Because we realize that the replacing of the batteries itself is also a hassle. Once you have the tracker in your hands, it's easy to replace them, but often you might not realize. But if you have a large fleet deployed, being there at the exact right time when the moving asset is there so you can replace the batteries, that's also a particular challenge that you would run into. So we like to avoid that as much as possible.
Okay. And in terms of other things to worry about, how do I put a tracker on an asset? Maybe it's a stupid question, but it's rather important.
Exactly. So there's a few options you have. You can use, for example, rivets or some bolts to attach it. It's actually the most sturdy attachment. In some cases, you can also use magnets, or you can use tape or strip wraps. So we have a few solutions available. Kind of depends on let's say the physical properties of your asset. If it's metal, plastic, you need to have some different approaches.
All right, and so it's I can see it only takes a couple of minutes, but why is that so important? Why do we stress it so much that it's an easy installation and that you can install an asset tracker?
You need to roll out at scale, and you often need to do it at multiple locations, and you will not do it yourself. So you will need to instruct other people whose job is not mainly just to install trackers. So you want something that's just really straightforward to use. So that means you provide them with a drilling template. They drill the holes, for example, and they have very clear instructions what to do. And then the next step, finally, is when it's mounted, you activate it with a magnet by holding a magnet, and then from that point, really the SIM card starts to work, the tracker starts to work, and the subscription kicks in.
Okay, so I assume you typically start at a location where there's many of your assets together so that you can do the first ones really fast, and then afterwards you need to work on the other locations to install the fleet.
Yeah, exactly. That's how.
And do you have to wait till everything is installed before you can have value from the
No,
data?
really. It's from the moment you attach this and you activate it, let's say within 5 minutes or less, you have your location point and you can start tracking, right?
All right.
And you roll out gradually, typically, as the assets become available for installation. You just keep adding the trackers and you have more visibility of your assets and your equipment, how it's behaving online.
Okay. So one of the use cases is industrial manufacturing, where assets travel from suppliers to assembly lines of manufacturing companies, for example. In many cases, these different locations are in different countries. So I assume the solution works across country boundaries?
Yes, exactly. So it means that quite a bit like your regular cell phones, if you travel to different countries, which especially in Europe, fortunately we still have different countries, complicating things a little bit, but when your asset moves from one country to the other, this is all included in the communication contract that Sensolus has selected. Unfortunately, we need to take into account that this is using modern technology, so some things could be still optimized in the future, like we are waiting for certain technologies that we depend on to be rolled out to more countries worldwide, so maybe less industrialized countries. And also we need to still take into account that unfortunately, depending on which provider that you work with, they have different roaming agreements with the local telecommunications providers. We make the best selection and we offer that to the customer, taking into account the countries where the assets are expected to travel.
But it's fully transparent for the end customer. I mean, they won't be confronted with extra charges if the assets go to countries that
certainly
they
not.
know.
That's exactly, we take care of that, and it's important that this again is a hassle that you do not want to have. It's not visible, unfortunately, to many users, and it's hard to translate it, but we actually do a lot of work in maintaining that communication with the communication providers. Under the hoods, we actually take care of a lot of issues, possible issues that might disturb the correct functioning, or that might even depend on might even disturb the reduced energy usage of trackers.
Okay.
So this is a pain that, if you would go with another solution where you would buy or select your SIM cards yourself, that this would then eventually also fall on you to fix on your own. So this is what we want to solve for our customers, so the customers can really focus on their business and not be bothered with these technicalities.
All right, cool.
If you have 1,000 trackers, we can apply a single configuration, and then over a period of a few hours or maybe maximum a day, this rolls out, and then you are actually applied and you can start tracking.
Okay, and can I apply different settings on, say I have two types of assets? Can I apply one configuration on one type of assets, my trailers, and another configuration on my containers, for example?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe let's take one step back. So the reason why you actually want to do this is, in the end, there is two things that you balance. You want to have the responsivity. You want more data because it means faster alerts or maybe more detailed movement reports.
Okay.
On the other hand, you have to work with the battery budget, right? You don't want to recharge your batteries. You just want it to last many, many years. So this is what we balance. We, as Sensolus, already make, let's say, a judgment based on our experience and best practice that we start with during the first conversations that we have with our customers, and we start applying this. And indeed, it's really important that if you have different types of assets, because you use it for different business purposes, you might have different expectations in terms of responsiveness and in terms of data capture, amount of data capture.
Okay, and then I can push one config on my trailers and the other on my containers, and that with a single button.
Exactly.
And say after a couple of months I'm using the system and the configurations we chose is not 100% what I need, maybe the battery is still going down too fast. Is there anything we can do then?
Yeah, certainly. And two parts support that, or let's say, well, a couple of parts, actually 3 parts. So first of all, we enable the customer with good diagnostics, so you can actually see what's happening from a technical point of view. So you can monitor how the system is behaving in total. Because let's not forget, the reason why people start asset tracking is very often that you have no visibility, right? People make assumptions of what is happening and then when you start tracking, people suddenly discover that what they assumed is actually not happening. So for example, it might be longer inside or it might be more moving than you would expect. So there it's important to first to visualize that so people know it, and then you can use the settings with the click of a button again, just apply different settings, taking into account your renewed needs actually.
Okay.
And also not forgetting, in the back, this is also being monitored by your customer success organization, by Sensolus, who is also keeping an eye out and who might give you some clues in pinpointing some places where things could be improved. Because let's be honest, it is also sometimes a bit of a specialty. If you are new to this as a customer, take some time to get the fine details. So that's where the experience with Sensolus really helps you.
Okay. All right. So I think if we promote a solution also with one click, a couple of minutes, and you can start, that's not just a marketing idea, right?
It's really our DNA, it's really our mission, and it's really where we want to make the difference and help our customers in the best way possible.
All right. Thank you, Peter, for your insights.
Well, a pleasure.
So thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos, there's a link in the description, and we'll hope to see you there.